Hi, Joy.
Hi, Basil.
Basically, we'll start off with Befalin, then to me, then I think we'll finish with Ivy and Mohammed at the end. Yeah.
Perfect. I needed Alex to come and introduce his team so that we can start.
Sorry, Joy, for cutting you. We changed the leadership of the team. Actually, Basil is the team lead.
All right,
Basil is the team lead, and then just a question to Basil: is Alex not showing up for his presentation? He's supposed to be covering something on CLI, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure where he is at. Let me try and reach out to him.
Okay. And then just let me know. Okay.
All right. As Basil is doing that, Team Safari he's here. Hi, Alex. He's here. Alex has joined us. Basil, Alex is here. So Basil, kindly do an introduction to your team. Tell us what you'll be taking us through and introduce Befalin to us. Take it away, please. Basil.
Hi.
Hi.
Let's start with Befalin.
Introduce your team. Tell us who your team members are, what you're presenting, and yes, introduce Befalin. Ama, she's not yet in class.
I think she's in.
All right.
One
Take
moment.
it away.
Basically, today we'll be doing we have 2 units, I believe. It was 1 minute. We'll be doing with system operations and then later on with tooling and automation. Befalin will take us through the start of the coursework, that is the system operations overview as well as on AWS. Then I'll be joining you for troubleshooting and knowledge base. Then management, and then I believe the last part, that is AWS CLI, will be Alex. And then on the next one, I'll be doing the presentation on tooling and automation, the start, and then Mohammed will lead us through systems management and the rest. We can start.
Okay, Basil. I think I am ready to start off. So, Joy or Patrick, can I share my screen? Am I audible enough, first of all?
Yes, you're audible, and I believe you have the permissions to share your screen. Able to try?
Okay.
Okay.
So, So sorry guys. So let me just stop sharing for a while and get the document. I really thank you for your patience as you're waiting for me to get the document. So okay, perfect. So what can you see on my screen? Hi, Basil.
Yes, yes.
Oh yes, so I was trying to. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
you
get
can see
the
your screen.
document. You can see my screen, but what is it that you can see on my screen? Okay, perfect. Now I think I am there. Okay, so my name is Befalin from Team Safari. As I said yesterday, that today we are going to have an adventure. I don't know how Joy prepared you for the adventure. Sijui kama aliwatafutia snacks, but I believe. Sorry, I can skip or ama nini. Ama that is not for me. Okay, so as I was saying, I don't know how Joy prepared you for the class adventure, but we're going to take the trip as you are. So we are going to start off with system operation on AWS, and so can you guys just kindly engage me? Can you see my presentation clearly, or you're just seeing the?
No, currently we can just see the file manager. Can't see the
Oh,
presentation.
sorry about that. Okay, what about now?
Still the file manager.
Why is it not?
Befalin, try and share the exact window where your presentation is, because I suspect you're using Zoom the application.
Yes.
If you're using Zoom the application, you cannot share your entire screen. So you'll need to share the exact window where your presentation is.
Okay. Patrick,
Yes.
when I share my entire screen instead of the window, is it making any difference?
So what have you shared?
The entire screen, but
Oh,
still, okay, let me just share with the
yeah,
window.
I can see. We can see your presentation. Ebu go back to where you were.
Apple.
Yeah, Apple, we can see your presentation.
Ah, perfect. So you can see my presentation, so that is good. Okay, so we are going to start off the system operation on AWS, and first off, we start by defining what is system operation. So system operation involves basically deploying, managing, and monitoring IT systems and networks. So the goal basically here is to ensure that systems are reliable and secure and performant. So the key aspects in the system operations is managing complex environment across multiple servers, and also to involve various applications and services, and also the whole operations require coordination across different systems. Now we go to why system operation matters. This is like the importance, the benefits of system operations. And system operations now plays a critical role in IT environment, providing essential benefits which ensure systems are reliable for business continuity. Now, the first benefit or importance of the system operation is efficient infrastructure management. Manage large scale infrastructure efficiently, allowing organizations to scale their IT resources and meet growing business demands without comparison performance. So this is like to manage say 1,000 servers easily, so that it is large scale. And moving on to the second one, which is to reduce errors. A reduction of errors, error reduction through automation reduces errors via automation, minimizing human intervention and standardizing processes to decrease the likelihood of costly mistakes. This is by using automation instead of manual work. So we have less errors, less to zero errors. You can attest to that. When we use manual work, we work manually. That means the errors are bound to occur, but when the system is automated, the errors are minimal. So the third benefit will be real-time system visibility. This provides a real-time visibility into system performance, enabling quick identification and resolution of potential issues before they impact users. So this is through the monitoring tools, because anything that is automated, it has to be monitored. So through this monitoring tool, you can see, you are able to see the performance, and you can quickly identify an issue and resolve it before the impact or the damage is too big. And now the last benefit ensures meets business expectations. So it ensures that the system meets business expectations and the service legal agreement requirements, maintaining customer satisfaction and protecting the organization reputation. This is basically the agreed standards between the system, an organization and the system provider. So this makes with automation, with system operations, it makes the whole process and the how do I put it? We meet the business expectation. What the business is expecting to achieve, it is achieved more easily and more efficiently when we are using system operations. So we have responsibility system operation responsibilities. There are six essential tasks that ensure systems are reliable, secure and performant. Number one is build. So build is like creating an environment for development, test, and production. um I can give an example now. The here, this is an example. I hope you can all see it, but I'll share the notes. So the example, you deploy separate servers for testing new features. This is now you create different environments so that you can test different features in different environment, most probably in the test environments of a production. Taking for example Jumia. Yes, let's work with Jumia. Jumia, when the whole system us, when it comes to us to ordering the products and getting them, there is a system behind it, and the system had to be working so that it can work. But hakuna backlog ya orders. We order the same thing that is not in stock. So there has to be the building, the creating of an environment where these people tested this system. Does it work? Or if we put it like this or we put it like this, will it be able to work? So yes, that is the building stage. So the test is validate backups and disaster recovery procedure. This is basically checking if your database can be restored after failure. Yes, so in case of a system failure or the servers have failed, is the database restorable? Okay, I don't know how English that word is. So can your data be restored or backed up? Yes, that is now in the test. Now we have the deploy, which is to launch application or workload, deploying a new version of an app in a AWS server. Then we have to monitor, to observe systems health and performance. So we can observing system health, use AWS CloudWatch to track the usage and storage. Yes, so maintain, which is another responsibility. We have to apply regular patches and upgrades. So a system cannot be in the same level. It has to be upgraded. So updating those servers software regularly to prevent security risks, because security is very much key. So we have safeguard, enforce security across infrastructure. So setting permissions for users and enabling firewalls, basically implementing IAM policies and firewalls on encryptions, which is we use on basically daily basis. So moving forward, we have maybe okay. I'll post the question in the at the end of the presentation. So we can move to automation of in-system operations. Automation involves performing repetitive tasks by using script, program, or templates. So instead of doing repetitive tasks manually, we use scripts or program or templates to automate them. Now, we can all agree that automation is a game changer in system operations, and it has its own benefits. Number one, it is faster deployment. It reduces time to provision of deploy system. So the time that you could use to do a task manually, you can use a program or a script, and that task could be done even in minutes, or you can do a year's work in a day because of system operations. So fewer errors. We can all agree that automation and systems work well because they are running on a command, not like us humans. So doing that manually can make the whole process have a lot of errors. Now we go back, it is a lot of work, and going back now to undo the errors, it's a lot of work. Then we have consistent setup, ensure uniform infrastructure configuration. Yes, it is not different people doing that can be inconsistent. So having the system automated, it ensures that there is uniformity in the infrastructure. And now here we have examples of the automation examples. Examples, we have a Linux shell script which automates servers startup tasks. That is, the script gives the shell script, it gives step-by-step instructions to start, on when to start, on when to check the settings, on when to change. It's just automatic. Basically ni automation, tunafanya automation. So we have Python. We recently had a session on Python, and it schedules nightly backup, which is way more time saving, because the system does not need to take a sleep as a person doing it manually needs to take a break. You see, so we have cloud formation templates, which is basically say a blueprint that for cloud resources, maybe that allows system to create everything automatically. So here the whole point of this is having the system to do everything automatically. So AWS, sorry. So in automation really helps to save time and reduce mistakes, makes the system run smoothly. So you that is the basically, there is nobody in this era who would want to work in an non-automated system. So we have AWS system operation tools. Essential AWS services that help system operations manage infrastructure and automate operations. Now, these tools may include, we have AWS Cloud Formation, which does reusable infrastructure templates that define the provision of AWS resources. It declares the infrastructure as a code. We have an AWS Infrastructure Manager, which is a centralized management for configuring and managing multiple servers. So it patches management and configurations. Yes. And the EC2 autoscaling, which automatically adjusts servers and count based on the load metrics that ensures optimal performance. Now we have the AWS step function, which orchestrates automated tasks across multiple services. That ensures coordinates complex workflow. So this, as I said, it saves time, reduces mistakes, makes everything easier. So system operation in clouds. Cloud computing transforms system operations. Wait, before I go to system operations in cloud, could there be a question on automation? Sorry. Could there be a question on that? Automation, introduction to the system operations. Okay, so I believe there is none. I cannot see the chat, so if you can unmute if you have any. If there is none, I can move on to system operations in the cloud. Okay, so silence means you've either understood or not understood. But my belief is we have understood. Yes, so system operations in the cloud. This one. Cloud transforms system operations and make Cloud computing transforms system operations, making automation easier and more efficient. So the key points here is easier automation. It's a streamlined process, reducing manual task. It reduces risk. It saves time. Yes. So in cloud computing, the system operation tasks become more repeatable, more secure, and more scalable. So that all these tasks, all these tasks in cloud computing makes automation very easy. So we have enabling tools for this, for making this easy. We have one, infrastructure. Yes, infrastructure is a code. Let me just move to the next. Sorry, to the next slide. Yes, infrastructure is a code. We have container services and configuration management. Now, after this, up to the system operations in cloud. Now that is basically the overview of system operations in AWS and in cloud, and we have to give the, how do I put it? We have to give credit to automation and in system operations, because that is what is making everything easier in it. So moving on to troubleshooting knowledge base. So this is another topic in system operations. So troubleshooting knowledge base is a systematic approach to documenting problems, and solutions for future reference, helping helping track issues, let me do that again. So troubleshooting knowledge base is a systematic approach to documenting problems and solutions for future reference, helping track issues, learn from them, and share knowledge. So document problems and solution in a spreadsheet called, now the spreadsheet is the one that is called troubleshooting knowledge base. This helps to track issues and learn from them, and also share the knowledge. When you make one mistake, you cannot make it twice. So the fact that you have it documented, and the fact that you have the problems laid out and there is a solution, so you can share the knowledge of the problem encountered in this approach and the approach that you used. Yes, those are basically learning the best practices in the troubleshooting. So in this troubleshooting knowledge base spreadsheet, it has different columns. So you would want to indicate the issue number or the description, a unique identifier, or a brief summary of the problem. Of the problem. Yes, of the problem. Then you would also want to have the category. Is it compute? Is it networking? Is it security? So I believe that there is a spreadsheet. Okay, let me just finish this. I finish this, and then we'll look at that spreadsheet that is in our canvas. So we have the category, then we have the symptoms. So this is basically describing, ni kama mtu akiwa mgonjwa. So you have to describe the problem, observe the indicators. What is it? What is the problem here? Yes, now we have the root cause. The root cause is, yes, this is the problem. Where did the problem come from? Yes. Then we have the resolution steps or the resolution procedures. These are step-by-step processes on how to fix the issue. Now, you have it documented. This is the problem. This is how we fixed it. And this is the problem, this was the cause of the problem, and this is how we fixed it, and what tools or resources did you use to fix that problem. So yes, so maybe I can just share an Excel that was in our canvas. This is an example of as knowledge base. Yes, an example of a troubleshooting knowledge base. So we have the issue here, the issue number. So as we said, the issue number, an identifier of the issue. Yes. Then the category, is it networking? Is it computing? Is it foundations? Then issue description. So let's go with example one. We have networking. Now the issue description. The issue description, we have application on EC2 instance connectivity issue. That is the issue. Then we go next to the symptoms. This was the issue. So what was the symptoms in that issue? Could not connect to an existing website, was able to successfully connect yesterday, tried different browser and got the following errors. Firefox, the error is it was in the system. That is how you put it here in the knowledge based troubleshooting knowledge based. Then the course of analysis, the instance was no longer running, perhaps someone stopped it. Basically this root cause is what led to this symptom. This is what led to this symptom. So the instance was no longer running, perhaps somebody stopped it and then it was restarted because the URL to connect it also changed. Then we have the resolution. So the resolution procedure here is where you use this is the solution. The solution. How are we going to solve this problem, since we know the problem and what caused the problem? So we use the Amazon EC2 dashboard to verify that the EC2 instance is running. If not, start it and try to connect again. And so helpful tools and resources. What tools did we use to solve this problem? So we used Amazon EC2 dashboard to view instance status, choose instance in the detail span and look at instance state. So to start an instance, follow the following steps. So basically this tells you how did we solve this, yes, and we have how we solved it. What did you use to solve this? Yes, so that is an example and everyone can access that because it is in our canvas. So we have, moving on swiftly, we have knowledge-based categories. So there are key areas for organizing troubleshooting information. We have the storage, we have the security, we have networking, we have, and I could go into details because we have been in class tukisoma networking, so we basically understand everything. So we have the automation and optimization, we have compute, and we have monitoring and reporting. Then basically the basic one is foundational IT. Is it what is the category which the problem is at? Yes. So best practices and key takeaways. So this is, we are nearing the end. These are the key takeaways in the system operations overview and the knowledge base. Yes, knowledge base categories and knowledge base troubleshooting. So one, system reliability. System operations ensure systems are reliable, efficient, and secure through proper management and monitoring. We have also automation automation criticality. Automation is essential for scaling and consistency in system operation, reducing human error. So a knowledge-based value, building a troubleshooting knowledge base improves problem-solving skills and helps to track issues. AWS tool auto utilization. AWS provides tools to support system operation tasks efficiently, making automation easier in the cloud. So there is one key takeaway that always test automation scripts in development before production. Maybe you can have development stage and production. Mostly for people, okay, I would not categorize it for people, but it is more riskier for people in the financial sector or doing systems in finance environment, because money, money. But anyway, you have, like, if it is say M-Pesa, it for M-Pesa to be M-Pesa, then it had to be to have a test stage where people were send money. They were registered to send money just to test the efficiency, to test everything in that, so that it would come to production. Out production, that is where everybody can access it and send money. That is where we are. And thank you. Any questions? Any point of addition? Hi.
Hi, Befalin.
Yes. So is there any question? Was I audible the whole time?
Yes, you were. And
Ah,
my bananas were working in wonders. We appreciate your beautiful, beautiful slides.
okay.
Your
Thank you
slides
very
are
much.
beautiful, very beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
May
think
God-
you people, you'll do a tutorial on how to do slides and notes. You have special talent.
Yes. So since there are no questions, I clap for me and Team Safari. Yes. So Basil, please take the stage.
Hai Befalin. Nimeona ni kama ulikuwa na tension kidogo. Umefanya hadi umefanya hadi system nini, what do you call it? The next one, knowledge base.
Troubleshooting knowledge base.
Yeah, you've done it
Ni
also.
knowledge ilikuwa mob. I had to share.
It's okay. Well, I think it's nice you've done it. Probably to add a real life example, ningesema knowledge base is like, what do you call it? If you remember troubleshooter for Windows, the way it had those various points, like when you had an issue maybe with the network, you prompted it, it would give, it's like a knowledge base. It's already been compiled, so you can select from it. So I think we can move on to the next. It's Ivy, I think. We will be taking us through access and identity management. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible enough. Let me just share my screen.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you, Basil. A disclaimer, so if you hear any tukeleles huku nje, kuna a lot of kids playing.
Kushua si wewe.
No. No. I hope my screen is visible. Kindly confirm.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mohammed. So today I'll take you through the AWS Identity and Access Management Review. So we can start by a brief introduction or a definition of IAM. So this is a service that helps one to securely control access to the AWS resources. And so we can think of identity and access management as a security gatekeeper for the things that you are doing in AWS. So you can the INM decides who can open. We can use an example of maybe doors. The INM decides who can open which doors and what they can do once they have opened the door, the activities they can do. So the goals of this lesson, we are going to define AWS INM. We have already defined that. We are going to recall the types of security credentials and the concepts of INM users and INM roles. We're also going to describe INM best practices. We'll go to the core functions and the purpose of INM. So with INM, one can centrally manage authentication and authorization. So instead of having separate passwords for each and every AWS service, INM provides one central place to manage all the security. So we previously talked about authentication. Someone can either type on the chat or unmute and tell me what authentication means. Basil, if anyone types on the chat, you can read for me because I can't see. Or anyone can unmute and briefly tell me the meaning of authentication. It's on the screen also. Okay, I'll just read it for you guys. So authentication. Hello. Hi, Alex.
Yes, hi there. So I can take
Yes.
on the authentication. I can read through.
Okay.
Okay. So into brackets, it asks the question, who can log in? This is the process of verifying the identity of a user, application, or service.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So we'll move on to authorization, which is the process of checking the permissions. What can someone do? So for example, when someone logs into AWS, authentication checks the username and the password. So once that person is logged in, the authorization will check whether that person is allowed, or for example, to start or stop or start or stop an EC2 instance. So another core function is to create users, groups, and roles. So for INM users, this represents individuals or apps that need access. For example, we can use an example of anyone in the chat. Let's say Alex. Alex can be a developer. Alex as a developer is the INM user. For the INM groups, this is a collection of users who share permissions. So one can create a group of developers. Now Alex belongs in the group of developers. For the roles, this is where the permissions are applied, temporary permissions, that is. Now, for example, for an EC2 instance, one can assume a role to read data from S3. without storing access keys inside the server. Another core function is the application of policies to control access. So the policies are the documents that formally define permissions in AWS. They are attached to the identities, that's users, groups, and roles that one creates. Any questions so far? Okay, we'll move on to the methods of accessing AWS. We have two methods. We'll start with the programmatic access. So this is used when interacting with AWS using code or scripts. So it uses access keys, which has access key ID as well as a secret key access. So for the programmatic access, it provides access to the AWS CLI, where users can run commands to create, manage, and delete resources. Two, it provides access to AWS SDKs, that's the software development kits. These are language-specific libraries that provide APIs for developers to integrate the applications directly with AWS services. And three, we have access to AWS APIs. Another method of accessing AWS is the console access. This is the AWS management console. This is used via the web interface. For one to access the console, you require the AWS account ID. We have the INM username and we have the password. So when you sign in, the AWS can also ask for if you've enabled the MFA code, it will ask you for that, which is recommended for security purposes. We can move on to the types of security credentials. So one, we have email address and password, which is associated with the AWS account. We also have the INM username and password. This is used for accessing the AWS management console. We also have the access keys, which is used with the AWS CLI and programmatic request through APIs and keys. We have the MFA, which serves as an extra layer of security. We also have key pairs, which is used for specific AWS services like EC2. So we have best practices for an AWS root user. So first of all, every AWS account has a single and pre-assigned user. For the root user contact, the root user is associated with an email address used for account recovery as well as AWS communications. We also have critical security practice, where one is advised not to use the root user for everyday or administrative tasks. We also have root user's primary purpose, which is to create the first INM user with administrative permissions. Now, after creating the first INM admin user, one should securely lock away the root user credentials, for example, in a password manager. Next, we have a break glass use. Now, this is your advice to use the root user credentials only for specific account level tasks that cannot be performed by an INM user. For example, changing the account email or closing the account. We have INM user for console access. One is advised to use INM user credentials, username and password to access the AWS management console. We also have the access keys for programmatic access. One is advised to use access keys for programmatic access via the CLI SDKs or the APIs. Another one we've already talked about, the MFA, which is highly advised for maximum security. Any question? Okay, we can move on.
A quick question.
Yes, Basil?
You've said well that you have to use MFA, that sort of thing. What happens if you forget your password or something of the sort? Or you forget your credentials?
Okay, I'm not sure about that. Maybe Joy or Patrick can jump in and help us with that question.
Hi, Ivy. What is the question again,
Hi,
please?
Patrick. Basil?
So like if you were to, let's say you had an issue, you lost your credentials to log in either via MFA or the other login methods, what would you do?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do, however, it is not a sure bet, is actually to contact AWS support. That is what you should do. And actually to get their email, I think you can get the email from the documentation. It's supposed to be support at AWS. AWS what? Support at AWS, but we'll find you the right email. But that is the surest way, because now it's just like the same way you would have, let's say, for example, you have an account that has been given to you by an organization. They have created for you, the password and the logins, and then now you're not able to log in. So maybe getting to that organization, the people that created the account for you, will sort it. That's one. Then another one that I can see Joy has suggested on the platform is that you can use the click. You can click on forgot password option. So for forgot password, at least for forgot password of the two, you must be remembering your username, right? So you'll use your username, either the email or the username, and then you'll be able to reset it. Make sense? Basil?
Yeah, it makes sense a bit. Yeah.
A bit. Why is it not making sense completely? Yeah, so
a bit because
yes.
A bit because with MFA, I've noticed that, let's say you're using an authenticator app, yes, then you happen to lose your phone or any gadget you're using. You have that issue whereby it doesn't accept you to use another gadget.
True. For MFA, yes. For accounts that are protected by MFA, that is true, because I think, okay, I'm going to band, but let me just say it. I lost access to one of my AWS accounts. Okay, for the many things I do, I have like 5. So I lost access to one of them when... Sorry?
Ilirudi ama bado
ilienda.
still lost?
Ilienda because of what happened is that somebody in town decided to bless themselves with my phone, and my authenticator app was in that phone. So I had like 3 accounts. One of the accounts was there, and then the other 2 accounts that were in that same authenticator apps were not AWS related. So I was not able to set that. And I think this is good because it is something that maybe we can research on, and maybe we can share it as soon as we get a resolution to it, because it can happen to anyone, especially now that AWS encourages people to do that. It's very, very important. How about recovery codes for accounts protected by MFA? recovery codes for accounts protected by MFA. Do you understand that question? I'm not getting what he's asking.
Yeah, I understand it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the recovery codes you're given when you create that. Maybe you're using Authenticator, you get those recovery codes.
Oh,
But now
yeah.
the issue comes whereby maybe you didn't save them well somewhere nice, so or you forgot where you put them. It's also another issue.
So I think this is a very important point of discussion that requires a bit of some research. So let us do research on it, and then should I get something or should we get something, we can hack it. Mohammed, should we get a way forward? We will discuss it tomorrow in the morning session. So I've noted it down. So we are going to research on it. So that's fair, because it's important and it's practical. Yes. Okay, Basil,
thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Patrick, for that. So we'll proceed to the IAM policies and permissions. So for the permissions in IAM, they are controlled using policies, and we can look at the main types of policies. For the first one, we have the identity-based policies, which are attached to users, groups, and roles. These policies define what actions the identities that have been created can perform and on which specific resources. These policies as well, they're written in the JSON format. We'll move on to the second policy, which is the resource-based policies. These policies are attached directly to a resource, like for example, an S3 bucket. They define which users or services can access that resource and what they can also do. We'll move to the AWS Organizations Service Control Policies. These are used in AWS organizations to manage multiple AWS accounts. They also act as guardrails defining the maximum permissions an account can have. The final policy is the access control list, the ACLs. These are legacy but still relevant form of access control for specific services. They're an older form of access control, mostly used in S3 for cross-account permissions. We'll move to the policy evaluation logic. Now, when a user or service makes a request, AWS can evaluate the policies using the following logic, which have been listed below. The first one, they can authenticate the principal that made the request. Then they'll process the request context to determine which policies apply to the request. Next, they evaluate the applicable policies in order based on policy types, and then they determine whether the request is allowed. They can either allow or deny the request. So IAM roles can be used in three main ways. The first one, they can be used, we already spoke about this previously, so I'll quickly mention the ways which you can use IAM roles: the AWS Management Console, AWS CLI, AWS SDKs, and APIs. We have the IAM permission examples, user-based permissions, as well as the resource-based permissions. And we also have the best practices for using IAM. So the first one, we are advised to avoid using the root account for daily operations. We're also advised to create at least one IAM administrative user and use that for daily tasks. We're also advised to apply the principle of least privilege. I believe we already talked about someone presented about the principle of the least privilege, where one only grants permissions where the users need to do their job. Another best practice is to use IAM roles for cross-account access or when applications need temporary credentials. Another practice is to enable MFA on all privileged users. Another one is to enforce strong password policies and also rotate credentials regularly to reduce security risks. So in summary, we've talked about how IAM helps one to securely manage access to the AWS resources. We've also said that IAM allows one to create users, groups, and roles and assign the users different permissions using the policies. And we also said one can access AWS either programmatically or through the AWS console. And one is advised to follow the best practices that we have just mentioned just now. So we will go to the checkpoint questions. So question one, it's either true or false. So SIOPS professionals can use IAM to configure authorization for users. Someone can answer that for us. Is it true or is it a false statement? If someone has typed on the chat, I think I can just check over here. Clinton says it's true. Gideon also says it's true. Angela says it's true. Fan says it's true. And we have our answer. That's true. Basil also says it's true. For our next question, as a best practice, AWS recommends using the root account for everyday tasks. We've just talked about this right now. Angela says it's false, Sandra false, Fan false, Tony false. Thank you guys for the answers. Frank, Gideon, false, and that's true. Thank you. Elfas, thank you. The next question. So which option represents an IAM identity? We have user, policy, role, guide, or list. Gideon says it's policy. Anyone else? Okay, Gideon is right. The answer is policy. So anyone with a question? Comment? Anything?
Yes, Ivy.
Yes, Patrick.
Back to that question that Nani asked, was it, I believe it was Basil, about how to set
Basil,
up.
yes.
So I have shared a link on the chat from documentation, and actually this is the best practice that you guys should be doing. I told you, whenever in doubt, always consult the documentation. Good enough. AWS has already done a good documentation, because I think this is a common problem. Recovering an MFA protected identity in IAM, and so there are two routes that you can follow depending on which account level of access you have. If you have root access, there's a prescribed way that you can follow. And one of these ways, it actually shows you even the difference between a root user and an IAM user, where a root user can do things which an IAM user cannot do. Now, for the root user, you have the possibility of adding another MFA device to your account. If you log in as a root user, you can add pale chini when they're asking you for an MFA device, you can actually add an additional MFA. So they say you sign into your console, sign using a root user, and then on the additional verification required page, select an MFA method to authenticate with and choose next. And then depending on the type of MFA you're using, you can then add another MFA device And then once you've added the other MFA device, it will now be able to send you the code. I believe when you're setting your MFA for the first time, you will enter the code twice, and then now you will be able to connect. And then in case that does not work, there is also an email address that they've given you, recover-mfa-no-reply@verify.signin.aws, and then there are some directions that you'll be sent that you can use. That is, if you are, and by the way, I'm brushing through them because I'm just reading through that documentation that I've given you guys the link to, so you guys can go through the same. But now that is if you are a root user. But if you are an IAM user, remember an IAM user is normally created for you by the administrator. So you will need to contact the AWS administrator or other person who gave you the username and password for the IAM user. The administrator must deactivate the first MFA device that you are using so that you can now sign in afresh and set a new MFA device. A new MFA device. So you see, hata pia mimi mwenye I have that account that is still hanging in the balance, I now have a solution. You understand? I now have a solution. So that was a very, very good question, Basil. And guys, I hope you have understood that. Thank you. Thank you, Ivy. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'm done, and thank you guys for participating. Thank you for listening. Also, yes, I'll share the notes, Clinton. You can go through the notes on the canvas. For maybe if I've missed something, you can just go through it once more. Thank you. Basil, you can take over.
Thank you, Ivy. We move on to Alex. I believe he'll be taking us through AWS CLI.
Okay, thank you, Basil.
Yes.
I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
So you can see my entire screen. Yes, hello. So I will start with AWS command line interface. So in this, we have the objective to cover the AWS CLI. So we are going to define the AWS command line interface, explain the details for installing the AWS CLI on Linux, because I'm currently using Ubuntu. Then we are going to finish with the details about the AWS CLI. So on the overview, so there are three main ways in which we can access AWS. So we have the...
Excuse me, Alex. Is it possible for you to go with the slideshow option so that we see your notes bigger? Yeah. Just the same
So,
the same place that you are sharing, but now you just click on from the slides. Just click on slideshow or close the sidebar if possible.
the slideshow. Hello. Is it visible now?
Not yet. I'm not seeing anything. Is someone seeing anything from Alex?
I've put the
Not
slideshow.
really. No.
Just reshare the way you had reshared the first time. You were okay the first time. The only thing that you needed to do is just to make the slides appear bigger. Let's see.
Okay. Now you can see. So I put the slideshow.
Okay, click on slideshow. We see. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Proceed.
Okay, so for AWS, we can access it through three main ways. The first one is AWS Management Console. Uh, for the Management Console, it provides an intuitive interface for AWS. We have the SDKs, where we call AWS Service API from most programming languages, and our main focus, which is AWS CLI, which provides access to AWS services through Linux, uh, Microsoft Windows, and Macintosh command line. So, as we have heard, the AWS is available in these three major operating systems, which are Linux, Windows, and Mac. So after installing the AWS CLI, you can use this configuration command to specify default setting. So from my end, I tried these commands. So I made a summary of the commands. So the first one was to download the package, which use the car. Then you specify on where it will be stored. So you specify using the zip hyphen o in brackets AWS like 2.zip. So for I've written a tip there, the option in the example command, we write the downloaded file in the current directory with the local name AWS CLI version v2 zip.zip. It's a .zip extension. Up to there, we are together on the downloading the package to install the AWS CLI. In case of any question, you can post it on the chat. Then I would request maybe Basil, you can read for me because I'm not able to access the chat now as I present. So the next is to extract, is to unzip. You use the unzip command to extract the installer package. So you use the unzip AWS CLI version 2 zip. This command extracts the package and creates a directory named AWS under the current directory. So So after extracting, now we go to installing. We install using the sudo AWS install. So this command includes sudo to give you right permission to those directories. So we have to confirm if the installation was successful. So you use the AWS version. This command displays the version of the AWS CLI and its software dependency that you just installed. Mostly I've seen, when I ran it, I've seen Python. So it's giving those dependencies of Python, which we just ran the programming language, which is used for in most system automation. So we move on to the AWS. Maybe before we move to the AWS CLI help, maybe we can, if there's any question on the installation part. Hello, Patrick.
Yes, yes.
So for the installation practical, we do it now or we do it at the end?
We will do it at the end, and it will not even be a matter of really doing the practical, but just to
Yes.
walk them through a few things. A few
Okay.
things on how to use it, because the practical, the installation steps have been well defined by you, and that's very, very good. So we will do it towards the end, if that's okay.
Okay. So thank you. So we move to the next, which is the AWS command line help, where we use those commands to for checking maybe the help command, which I've outlined here. Most of the commands which you can use is the AWS help. You can use the AWS EC2 help to check the details, and this one, the other one for AWS EC2 describe instance help. So I think those, most of them, I did them practically. They are well elaborated. You see them. So there's this one option that I was much into it. It is called the dry run option. So for this option is under the AWS CLI help. So we are going to define what the the dry run option is used and what it is. So maybe someone can read me the first one. Can unmute, then you read the first option, the first description of the dry run option.
People, nobody wants to unmute and help in reading. Really?
The screen has disappeared.
Okay, return the screen. And I would prefer someone that is not from Team Safari to read, so that we see if the class is engaging. Anybody?
Okay, can I read?
Okay, please do.
This option checks for required permissions without making a request. It also provides an error response if unauthorized.
Okay, thank you. Maybe there's this other, the next additional comment. Maybe you can take us through, then we go to the checkpoints.
So I read them.
Yes, please.
So another CLI option is the dry run option. It is used for testing purposes because it checks whether the required permissions for the action are present without actually making the request.
Thank you. So I think much of the AWS CLI was more practically in the installation. So I tried to summarize the notes. So maybe we can go through the checkpoint. Maybe we see where maybe we did not understand, and you can share maybe more on what we can go deep into. So the first question, I will read it. So which operating system can the AWS CLI be installed on? You can help me to check the charts for the answer for the question number one.
Safari guys, you're sleeping. There are answers on the chat. Alphas is saying Linux, Mac OS, Windows. Gideon, Mac OS, Windows, Linux or Mac, Linux from Sandra. Yeah. So guys, saying it's Windows, Mac OS, and Linux.
Okay, I think those three are the most used operating system. We're going to check if the answers are correct. So the next question number two, how do system operators check which version of the AWS CLI they are running using in CLI they are using in Linux. So the Linux people, Ubuntu, Kali. So you can give us the answer to this.
And Alex, they're saying AWS version. Gideon is saying AWS. Justin, Patrick, Alphas, Basil, Felix, Frank, AWS version.
Okay, yeah, I think we check the result. So we check using the AWS version command. So the that question, what is the purpose of the dry run option in AWS CLI command line?
We have guys saying used for testing. Tony says simply verify permissions before executing actions.
Yes.
We have Justin who is saying to check permissions.
Okay. I think maybe we are going to check the answers to see. So So the first question, the operating system which are which operating system can the CLI be installed on? It is Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. So the guys who stated that are correct. So then we have the version, how to check the version of the AWS CLI. We are using that $sign AWS version. So it will state the version which you just downloaded and installed. So the purpose for the dry run option in an AWS command line. So basically what I understood is it's like you query the system but you are not like you are not built. So I think guys mostly I did the CLI up to this one, so mostly the practicals, maybe of Joy and or Patrick, you can take us maybe through the practical, because I did the installation through Ubuntu.
Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex, for that presentation. You've done really well. People, my coffee for Alex. My coffee for Alex. Let me just confirm something. Basil, do you still have a topic that you're presenting after this?
I think we were supposed to do the other part. It's called tooling. Yeah, on tooling.
Oh, also you'll be doing. Guy, bananas have arrived. You'll be doing.
Yeah.
How can I shrub a tea for a D? Hey, that dog. Hey, okay. So now I was saying, now that you guys will be doing tooling, let me just walk you guys through a very quick process of doing your CLI. And Alex, you've done a very good job. So we are just building on what Alex has done. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Problem with these things is that we will have to do a couple of things. So, now remember something very key. And actually what I'm going to show you, it is something that we already did. We already did, because there was that time that I was showing you guys how to create a user. If you remember that I showed you how to create a user, please let me see some reactions. You remember, you go to you create a user. So that is very, very important. You creating a user, and then once you have created a user, then you will be able to use that user to sign in, because he said it's a best practice that you do not use your root user, even if the account belongs to you or you are the administrator. I hope you remember that. So today, one good thing that that Team Safari has shown us, they've shown us a lot of things that has to do with systems administration. And if you remember, if I remember very well, when they were starting, they showed us the 3 ways by which you can access your account, and we've been singing about this over and over. You can use SDKs, you can use CLI, and you can use the management console. So CLI allows you to do what we call programmatic access. You can access your account, or you can access the account that you want to access without really going through the console. You understand? So for you to do that, of course, you will need to connect. Let's say, for example, you're working on a local environment. You'll need to connect your local environment to your AWS account. And one tool that helps us to do that is actually the CLI, as we had talked about. So Alex has shown us how to download and install the commands that you can use to download and install this awesome tool from the vendor site, which is AWS, into into your Linux operating system or your Linux environment. Now for Windows, for Windows, what you do, you download it the same way you will download any other application. Let me use an example of VLC. So if you want to download, for example, VLCs, you know what you do. You go to Google, you search for VLC, then you go to the official site and download it. Once it has been downloaded to your machine, you can then use click ops to install. Click next, 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 choose the option that you need to choose, next, 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 then install. Then once it is installed, you can then run that program. But now, for CLI for Windows, specifically, if you are downloading CLI for Windows, you know Windows with its many dramas. So you will be required to even set, after you have downloaded this application and installed it, you will now be required to go to your drive C, find the path, go take that path and set it as an environmental variable. You remember, you set it in your path as an environmental variable so that now when you're trying to interact with it from, let's say, for example, you have VS Code, you're trying to interact with it from VS Code, it will not start shooting those many errors that Windows is so famous for, or is it infamous for, you know? I hope you understand up to that point. Somebody, let me see your reaction. People on Windows, have you understood what I've just said?
Yeah, I've understood.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. That is awesome. Cool. So then now, again, a question. I just want to know. Please raise your hand for this one so that I get an average, so that I know if I need to repeat that or not. People, did you see me create access keys? Do you understand how to create access keys in IAM? Do you understand how to create access keys? And by access keys, I mean the keys that you will use to connect, say, your AWS account to your local environment so that you can use CLI. Do you remember? People, do you remember? If you remember, please raise your hand. People were asleep in that class. People were super asleep. In fact, even snoring. Okay, so maybe we will start from that. We'll start from that just to renew, to refresh your mind, and I'll try to be a bit fast. So if I'm too fast, bear with me. No, I'll not be too fast. I'll just go with the moderate speed. So let me just share the right screen first. Yes, good. Yes. Thank you, Gideon. You remember, at least Gideon remembers, we said the root user should not have access keys. So I'm talking about an IAM user. So if you are supposed to be creating credentials for an IAM user, it is very, very important for you to know exactly what to do. So give me a second. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. Oh man, I'll have to change some things. So just give me a sec, guys. What is this one having? What is this one having? This one. Okay, so let me get the screen that I want to share. We'll really try and be quick about this. Just a second. Let's see what we have here, not that one. Okay, I have 1,000 tabs opened. So give me a second, I get you. Good, that's what I want to share. So let us start from this. Let us start from this one. I'll be a bit first. Make that one. Make it big. So let me see. Please confirm for me what you guys are seeing from your end. Okay, cool. So are you able to see an AWS account interface, the sign-in page? Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Good, cool. So let us move. So I am logging in. This is my email, and so I am going to log in as root. And I'm logging in as root for a simple reason. Give it a second. I'm logging in as root because we want to create, oh man, sorry. We want to create an IAM user and then assign that IAM user credentials, the access keys. So you see the MFA that you've just been taught. So I'm trying to log into my account. It's asking me for my MFA code. Let me go and get the MFA code. I'm on my mobile. Auth. I've gone to my Authenticator app. I remember showing you guys these things. Come on. The place that I even turned on my camera and showed you my phone. And you've forgotten, you people. Okay, give it a second. New code has been sent. 959733. I believe that is the right one. Let's sign in. Okay, there it goes. So see, we are into the account. We've logged into our account, our AWS account, and I'm logged in as a root user. So I'll go to IAM. Then we are going to create a few things here. So I'll go down to users because I want to create a user. So I'll go to users. Okay, this is the users. And then from users, let me create a new user. This new user, I'll call the user CLI test as our user. And then I'll not provide AWS console access. Add a user to a group, copy permission, attach policies directly. So I'll just do attach policies directly. And then for this particular user, I'm going to give the user the easiest permission because I just want to navigate through very fast. So I'm going to give the user administrator access, but you will give your user access that they need to do their job. I hope you remember that. So we'll just go straight and create a user. So we have a new user created. This user is called, and by the way, I was supposed to delete this user because of the number of days. So we have this new user that we call our CLI test, and this is the user that we're talking about. Now, now this is the user that you're talking about. So, okay, cool. So that is the user. Now, after we have this user, I'll go to security credentials for this particular user, and I'm going to create a few things. I'm going to create the access key. This is very important. And you see, I can also add an MFA for the user, but I'm not going to do that right now because that's not the goal of this demonstration, but you can do that. So I'm going to put the name for my device. I'll call this one CLI test. It has gone to MFA. Oh, yeah. AWS actually activated this option that you have to set MFA. You have to set MFA, so that's very, very important. So this is just a quick thing. So next, QR code. Let me just add this one real quick. Because if you forgot that, it means that you've also forgotten this step. So let me just do it. It's just a minute. I'm scanning that code using my phone with the Authenticator app. And I have CLI test added to my account, to my Authenticator app. And I have the first code. I hope I'll beat the time. Okay, so I have added the first code. Let me wait for the second code. Give it a second, 712564. That is that. Then the second one is coming in 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's here. So it's 617153. 617153. Good. Add MFA. Good. So the MFA has been added. And now should this user want to log in? When they log in, they'll be requested to give the MFA. So now the important thing that I need to show us is this access keys, creating an access key. So let us create an access key for this user. And you can see here the use cases for the keys that we are creating. So this is the use case that you're going to apply the keys for, and that's command line interface. So you plan to use the access key to enable AWS CLI to access your account. You understand? So that's what we are going to do. Tick on that, and then come and say, I understand the above recommendation and want to proceed to create an access key. Next. So you can give it a name. So I can call it the same name to just a tag to describe it. And then down here, you can see we have our access key. This is the access key, and this is our secret access key. You see both of them are here. So you can hide and hide whatever you do. And remember what I told you, when you reach this step, it's very important that you download this key as a CSV, because if you get out of this page, you'll not be able to retrieve these details, especially the secret, the secret access key. And you need both of them for you to connect your CLI to your to connect to your AWS via your AWS account via CLI. I hope that one makes sense. So we have downloaded the Excel. The Excel has been downloaded, and this one now has both of these that you are going to use in our next step. So in the next step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change what I am sharing so that I now share the VS Code. So I'm sharing the VS Code. Please confirm to me that you can see the VS Code. Somebody?
Yes, you can see it.
Yes,
Okay, so I just made sure that everything was on so that we don't waste a lot of time. So this is our VS Code, or rather my VS Code, that I'm going to use to show you guys how to do a couple of things. So remember, after you have downloaded and installed AWS CLI to your machine, whether you're using Mac, whether you're using Windows, or you're using Linux, you can now use it because now what happens is that once it is in your system, and let's say, for example, in Windows, you've set the environmental variables correctly, you will be able to use it. You will be able to use it with your favorite IDE, in which, in my case, I'm using VS Code. So it's very, very possible for me to do what I am just about to do. Let me see. Okay. So this is our terminal. You know, this is our terminal, and now we are going to look. We are going to check first of all if we have the CLI installed, and we said that you check it using the command AWS --version. You remember AWS --version, which should tell you if CLI is installed, and you can see here we have AWS CLI version 2.22.33. and then Python, and this is on Windows 10 because I'm actually on Windows. I hope you can see that. Cool, awesome, cool, wonderful. So next we are going to try, we are going to run a couple of commands so that we connect. We are going to assume, actually this one I've created a new user, it's because I want to show you the process of connecting your CLI to your AWS account. I already have another instance where I have already connected my local environment to AWS to AWS, and you will see them when I start running this command. So an example. So the first command that you will run is AWS space configure. You know, AWS configure, enter. When you run AWS configure, you'll be asked for AWS access key ID. And if you are totally new and this is your first time to do this, you will not see something like this. You see what you're seeing here. This is the value for the access key that is currently connected to my AWS account, you know, to another AWS account, because I use the same local environment, and you can actually have multiple AWS accounts that are connected to. You can have multiple AWS accounts that are connected to your that are connected via CLI, and then you just shift from one to another. That's some high level stuff which you're not going to get into right now. So the first thing that you will do, you'll just come and copy. You will copy your access key, the one that we've just created, and paste it here. Oh, my mouse is it's messing up a bit. Let me just delete this. It ends in 7AA. There it goes. You see, that is our this is our access key. Good, enter. So the access key has been It has been taken. Then we come and pick our secret access key. That was our access key ID. Then next we copy the secret access key. Click here, tab, that is it. I believe that has entered once, good. Then you can also define your default region. Like for example, I use US. Okay, in that other account I was using US West 1, I can change that to US-East-1, US East 1. I hope you can see that, enter. And then the default output format for anything that I want to output when I'm running my AWS commands, my AWS, my CLI commands, I want them to be outputted in JSON format. So in the process of time, I think in the course of next week, we'll be doing something on JSON and YAML. So you'll get to understand these awesome tools or languages, but they are not really languages. And then there we go. So by doing that, we have already set that. And to check if that is set, I want you to pay attention to this. We will run configure again. AWS configure, enter. Now, see what happens. Look at our access key ID. Sorry, look at our access key ID. See, it ends with H7AA. That's what we have set. I hope you can see that. And then let us move down and look at the secret access key. You see, it ends with /JU, and that's exactly what we have here. So whatever we have given is what has been set for us. Look at the default region name. You see, it has moved from US West 1 to US East 1. And then, of course, our default output is that. Then I just want to run one CLI command. Give me a second and see if I'll get that command. Just a second, guys. Just a second, let me see. Just give me a second, I'm getting something. Just a second. Okay. So let us try and see if we can run. Where is my VS Code? Here it is, good. So let us try and see if we can run a command. Clear that. What has just happened? Let's make that one bigger. Let's run our YC. Clear. Okay, so let us try and run a command here. Let's try this one first. Then I'll explain to you what the command does. Oh, what has happened? Just a second. Just a second. I think I've seen the mistake in that one. AWS, 1 second. CLI. Okay. And by the way, just to mention, the current CLI that we are using, the current CLI that has been released by AWS is actually version 2. We are in version 2. So we are using version 2, and I'm going to also give you guys a link to the documentation where, and by the way, this is very important for all of you. So the links that we are sharing, just keep them very close. You are going to use them even when you'll be doing your own portfolio projects, when you'll be doing, even when you'll be working. And if you forget anything else, remember what I've said about always consulting the documentation when in doubt. And consulting documentation does not make you appear like you don't understand what you're doing. It just shows that you're smart about it. And again, you cannot be cramming things and running with this many commands in your head. Okay. So give me a second, I get you. I just want to show you something very simple. Where is S3, S3, S3? So let us see for S3. Okay. So that is configured. Give me a second. AWS S3. Make bucket. Let me try this, but I'm going to change something. Let me try running this command and see if this will work. So, create S3. So we make it, how do we make this? AMZN dash S3 dash demo 63 dash bucket. I hope I've typed it correctly. I'm just copying a command from somewhere. Let's see if this one will create a bucket for us. Okay, cool. And then we want to list that bucket. So listing the bucket, you remember you remember what we talked about when we did something on LS. So when we check that, you can see we have our bucket. So this is the bucket name. And now these are the other buckets that we have. These are the other buckets that we have in the same account because we are looking at buckets generally in that account. Okay, buckets that are generally in that account. And I hope this is the right account. So let me check something for you before we get out of this and continue the demos with our class. Let me check it before I share. I don't want to bounce. But I hope you guys are understanding what you're doing. Eh? I hope you are understanding what you're doing. So I share this. Share. And then I refresh. So this is the same account that we were in. You remember? The same account that we were in. And because we are still logged into this account, now this is what you are able to see. All the buckets that are in this account, but for different users. So you are able to see all of them. Had I logged in just specifically as the user that I am and tried to connect in using what I had, then I'll be able to only see the bucket that I've created. So this is the bucket that we've just created. And you can see here, it's even reading the time, 16:06. So it is reading my time as UTC +3. So this is the bucket that we've just created. And remember, we've created this bucket from where? We've created this bucket from the terminal. We've created that bucket from the terminal. So let me get a delete command, remove bucket. So we'll be using AWS remove bucket. Let me share a different thing again. 1 second. These guys have made our life a bit difficult because now we have to shift from tab to tab. So for you to remove a bucket, you will simply run AWS S3. And if make bucket was MB, remove bucket will be RB. So we will run remove bucket. And then again, we will do S3, this, and then the name of our bucket was Amazon. So here is where you put your bucket name, dash demo 63 dash bucket. You see that? Looks good. Let's enter and see. Yeah, there it is. Remove bucket. And again, very, very finally, as we end. So let me reshare the console. So from the console, you will be able to see. If I refresh, you remember this is the bucket that we've just run a remove command on it. So if I refresh even from that area, you can see the bucket is no longer here. the bucket is no longer here. So to make it clear for you guys, what I would advise is, if you are doing this, once you've created a user, log out of the root and then log in as a user, and then now start running everything from the user, from the user point of view, so that you can be able to see all of these things the way they are happening. If you have understood what I have just demonstrated, please let me see some thumbs up before I see my microphone. If you've understood what I have just shared, please let me see. Let me see some engagement. Thank you. I can see some thumbs up. Awesome, cool. So you guys try these things out, and you will be okay. You'll be okay. Yes, Basil, back to you.
Yeah, Patrick, can we do the KC or we?
Yes, we can do the KC, but you still have tooling,
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah.
You still have tooling. So let us do tooling first. Let's do tooling. Who is covering tooling?
I'll cover tooling at the start, then Mohammed will take over from, believe it is system.
Okay. So guys, today you'll forgive us. We'll not be able to do the cases in class together. So you guys go on and do the cases after class. Go do all the cases that you're supposed to do, and then tomorrow in the morning we will look at the other additional cases for exam prep together. So Basil, remind me in the morning, okay? Okay. So take us through the other session.
Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can see.
Okay, I'll be taking you through tooling and automation on AWS. Well, from your basic knowledge, automation is like streamlining it so that it has smooth control and it works better. So automation is a core principle of operating efficiently and securely in the AWS cloud. It allows you to build, deploy, and manage applications and infrastructure with speed, consistency, and reliability. AWS provides a rich and interconnected suite of services designed for end-to-end automation. Well, I'll be taking you through automation. So we'll start with infrastructure as code, IAC. It is the foundation of cloud automation. It involves managing and provisioning your infrastructure, networks, virtual machines, databases, name it all, through machine-readable definition files rather than through physical hardware configuration or interactive configuration tools. Any questions still there? Any questions?
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes.
Okay. So AWS Cloud Formation, what is it? It's the cornerstone of infrastructure as code on AWS. You define your entire cloud environment in a text file. I believe Patrick touched a bit on it on the YAML or JSON template. Yeah. Well, basically it works by, it interprets the template and provisions the specified resources in the correct order, with the correct configuration. It handles dependencies automatically, creating a VPC before launching an EC2 instance inside it. The key feature here is stack management. It treats all resources in a template as a single unit, a stack that you can create, update, delete, name it. Any action you can do, you'll do to it as a whole. So you have a single source of truth for your infrastructure. Then we move on to AWS Cloud Development Kit. It's a modern high-level abstraction of a cloud formation. It allows you to define your cloud infrastructure using familiar programming languages like TypeScript, JavaScript. We have Python, we have Java or C#. Sorry.
You have a son who watches every step that you make. You have a task to record with him this December.
Well, basically it works by, it allows you to define constructs which can be then expounded on. The CDK then synthesizes this code into a standard AWS Cloud Formation template. The key feature here is developer friendly. It enables you to use loops, logic, and object-oriented principles to create reusable and maintainable infrastructure code. And it's also great for developers who are also managing infrastructure. Then we have AWS Serverless Application Model, SAM. It's an open source framework specifically for building serverless applications such as Lambda, API gateways, and DynamoDB. It uses a simplified shorthand syntax built on top of CloudFormation to define your serverless resources. And then we move on to continuous integration and continuous deployment. Well, this is the process of building, testing, and deploying application code. AWS offers a fully managed, integrated suite known as the code suite. Then we move on to AWS Code Commit. It's a managed source control service that hosts private Git repositories. It's the AWS equivalent of GitHub or GitLab. Then we have its main role. It acts as a trigger for the pipeline. If you've interacted with GitHub, you have that function, git push, that sort of thing. So you get it to be automatic. Then we have, any questions? Hello? Any questions? I can see some on chat. So
No questions.
okay. Yeah, so we have AWS Code Build. It's a fully managed continuous integration service that compiles source code, runs tests, and produces software packages that are ready to deploy. Basically, it defines what do you call it? It defines your defines your files in your repositories that tells code build what commands to run or what you want to do on your instances and coding. Yeah. Then you have AWS Code Deploy. It's a service that automates code deployments to a variety of compute services, including EC2 instances, Fargate, Lambda, and your on-premises servers. It supports strategies like in-place, rolling, and blue-green deployments to minimize downtime and risk. Then we have the code pipeline. It ties everything together. It's a fully managed continuous delivery service that automates the release pipeline for fast and reliable updates. Code pipeline connects to code commit, triggers code build, and then initiates code deploy, automating the entire flow. Then we have CodeStar, a unified UI to quickly set up an entire CI/CD toolchain for a new project, pre-configuring, code commit, code build, code deploy, and code pipeline with a single click. Then we move on to configuration management and operational automation. Once your infrastructure is running, you need to manage, patch, and operate it. Well, basically, for operational management on AWS, it provides AWS System Manage provides a unified user interface so you can view operational data. We've seen it because we've been using it on the labs. I believe you've seen the run command. We also ran the patch manager a while back. Then, as you can see, we also have the automation docs, define a series of steps to perform common operational tasks. Then we have parameter stores as secrets manager, securely store and manage configuration data. Then you have the AWS OPS work, a configuration management service that provides managed instances of which are popular automation platforms that help you configure and operate applications using code. Then we have the event-driven automation and orchestration. We have the Amazon Event Bridge. It's a serverless event bus that acts as the central nervous system for your cloud architecture. Well, it's events from application, integrated SAS applications, and AWS services are sent to the event bridge. You then create the rules that match specific events and route them to targets like Lambda, System Manager for running commands or code pipeline. An example would be an EC2 instance enters the stop state event. The event bridge rule matches this. The rule triggers a Lambda function to the target. The Lambda function sends a Slack notification. AWS Lambda, it's a serverless event-driven compute service. It's the glue for much of AWS automation. Well, Lambda handles all the infrastructure management. It's perfect for short running, automated tasks like processing S3 objects, responding to API calls, or executing logic in response to an event bridge. Then we have the security and compliance automation. Automating security checks and compliance enforcement is critical for maintaining a secure posture at scale. We have the AWS config. I believe we have what do you call it? Interacted with it also. Then we have the AWS Security Hub. We have seen some of its functions like the inspector, the guard duty. Yeah, and also we still get to have it automated by Lambda. Then we have the Amazon Guard Duty. It's a threat detection service that continuously monitors for malicious activity. Well, this is how it all fits together. Provisioning to code push, to pipeline trigger, to build and test, then to deployment. I will share the notes. So then we move on to operational task / the patching, the compliance check that is on security, and then the automated remediation. That is the entire life cycle from infrastructure creation to code deployment to ongoing operations. Yeah. Also had this. 1 minute. Let me share. Also had this. It's a bit shorter, but I felt that it wouldn't give you much of the details you required. This one was much shorter, but it captured also the key aspects that we were going to go through it. But I saw the other with the notes to be better because it was more in depth. But as you can see, it's more like a refined, better version. So you get those commands and whatnot all in one place. And then if you've noted, end-to-end automation example, you have cloud formation, then code commit, then code build, code deploy, SSM patch, and then config plus event bridge plus Lambda. The benefits of automation would be faster deployment and updates, reduced manual errors, improved security, consistent, repeatable infrastructure, and then scalable operations. The key takeaways would be automation enables agility, reliability, and security. Thank you. Any other questions? Any questions?
You guys are quiet on the chat. We are assuming that they have understood. Is that assumption correct? If that assumption is correct, please give Basil some thumbs up or hand clap for us to understand where you stand. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you, Brian. I can see you, Frank. Thank you, Alphas, Justin, Gideon, Fan. Awesome. Yes. Cool. I can see guys are clapping for you, people. Basil.
Thank you. Yeah.
Was that okay? You say that Mohammed is coming up next, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mohammed.
Okay, thank you. Let me start. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Today we are going to cover AWS System Manager overview. System Manager. At the start, we are going to cover the overview, the capabilities, and benefits. AWS Manager is a collection of capabilities that help you manage your application and infrastructure running in the AWS cloud. It helps you to manage your instances and other AWS resources. It allows you to manage servers and applications from a single place. System Manager lets you perform tasks on your managed instances, such as running scripts, storing configuration data, and maintaining system configurations, all securely without logging in manually. It works with JSON or YAML SSM documents or system manager documents, and integrates with EC2 on-premise and AWS. It can be used both on premises and on cloud. This what it offers. It offers a unified control center. It lets you it manages AWS and on-premise. As I said, it allows hybrid sources from one dashboard without manual connection. Automation capabilities. It lets you schedule repetitive tasks to run automatically, reducing manual effort and human error. It also enhances security. There will be no need for SSH, as we were doing. There will be no need for SSH keys or open ports required with permission-based accessing and comprehensive logging. We can just log in without SSH, but it is still secure. We are going to cover that later. Complete visibility. It lets you monitor your dashboard. You see everything. Next, it automates administrative tasks. That's the tasks of the system administrator, as we covered right now. Centralized management, controls AWS and on-premise resources from one dashboard without manual connections. Cooperation, as I said, no SSHs or open bots required with all actions logged and permission-based. It also reduces manual effort since there's automation. It schedules repeated tasks to run automatically across multiple systems. Consistent configurations mean it maintains defined system states and maintains configuration shift automatically. It also improves security without SSH. No SSH key needed, eliminates security associated with managing keys and password for server access. As we said, there will be also no open port. It removes requirements for inbound imports, reducing attacks and potential vulnerabilities. Permission-based access controls server access through IAM policies instead of networking level permissions. Full audit trail. It requires all activities in Cloud Trail for complete visibility and compliance. It also works, as we said, it is hybrid. It also works both on-premise and AWS. Hybrid environment support, single control panel. As we said, it's a central management. Next, consistent operation applies same automation operation policies everywhere. It also simplifies migration. It uses cloud transition by using familiar tools across environments. That is, anyone who has a question for the overview before we go to capabilities? No question. Let's start by the document. The main thing of the AWS System Manager. A document defines the action System Manager performs on your instance. Document is the main one. Everything is recorded here. It defines everything a system administrator is going to do. It has ownership types. It can be owned by Amazon. You use predefined documents. You can create your own or customize existing ones, or you can share with someone else your documents from another AWS account. Usage. Command documents is used to run commands and state manager. Automation documents is used by automation. Format, it can be JSON or YAML, as you said. Key points, documents are like recipes. They define steps and parameters for task instance. They define each and every step. Run command execute scripts. It allows you to run multiple systems without SSH or RDB connections. That improves security and efficiency. Target options. Select instance individually by tags to execute commands on specific resource. You can select a group of instances and you can either run commands to do any task like automation, anything. It uses built scripts like AWS, run shell script or create custom commands for common administrative tasks. Safety controls applies limits error threshold to prevent widespread during command execution. Session manager provides secure access. The next one is session manager. We have used session manager to have when we're using the instance. I don't know if you remember, we go to the instance, click session connect, and then we check session manager, then we're able to use the terminal without logging in. No inbound bot needed. Connect without opening firewalls, eliminating traditional security risk. Full audit trails. Every session logged in trail with user details and commands for complete traceability. Browser-based shell is this one which one I was talking about. You use this one. Access internet directly from the console. Enhance security. Since it eliminates SSH keys and pattern hosts, it maintains strict policies. Patch manager automate updates. It also allows managing patches at scale level. Automating and patching process, define baseline, schedule maintenance windows, apply patches automatically, and review compliance reports across all systems. Reduces manual efforts, eliminates repetitive tasks, error-prone patching tasks while ensuring consistent updates across infrastructure. Track compliance reporting. Track patch status, identify a compliance system, and generate reports for security, alerts, and audits and regulatory requirements. Customizable baselines. Control which patches are approved, rejected, or prioritized based on your organization-specific requirements. Allows one to update your system at any time from anywhere, so that one can update the whole system. One can update many instances at once. Maintenance window schedule. Maintenance window schedule defines window parameters, set schedules, duration, and frequency for maintaining activity across your infrastructure. Schedule disrupt plan, patchings, reboots, upgrades during low traffic periods to minimize business impact. Assign multiple tasks, run commands, automation workflows, or Lambda function during maintenance periods. Target specific resources. Select instances or tag group to receive. State Manager prevents configuration drift. It allows your instances, for example, to stay the desired conditions throughout. It maintains defined configurations, automatically enforces the desired system states to prevent unauthorized changes over time. Regular enforcement checks and applies configuration that schedule interface to ensure continuous compliance. It uses SMS documents, associate configuration documents with target instances to define and apply proper settings. It prevents drifts, stops system from gradually diverting from the approved configuration through an automated corrections. I think this is collapse capability. Parameter store secret configuration. This one stores your secrets. It's like a drawer where you can store your keys. Secure storage solution. Centralized location for configuration data and secret with AWS KMS encryption. Name value pairs. Source information organized like this one like the dev DB password is there, name and D24 is the value. Like this one, it's a password for database in development. Encryption options support both plain text and KMS encrypted values for different security. It supports encryption, easy retrieval. And applications access parameters via CLI command without embedding secrets in code. Next. What is wrong? Give me a few minutes. What inventory collects system information? Automatic data collection gathers information from managed instances without manual intervention, providing comprehensive system visibility. Software tracking monitors install applications, updates, and files across your environment for better asset management. Captures network setting and configuration to help troubleshoot connectivity issues and ensure compliance. System properties record fashion, hardware details, and system characteristics for compliance for complete infrastructure documentations. Benefits and implementation. As you have said, one of the benefits is centralized control dashboard. It allows you to control your resources from a centralized dashboard. Unified management interface first controls AWS and on-premise resources from one control location without switching between tools. Real-time monitoring. View system status, compliance reports, and operation metrics across your infrastructure instantly. Secure access. Manage permission, track actions through integrated IAM policies and comprehensive activity logging. Automated operations. It schedule and execute maintenance tasks across multiple systems with consistent results and minimal efforts. No open inbound bots. As you have said before, since we are connecting with no SSH keys without opening inbound ones, it makes more secure. Next benefit is fully logged audit trails. Complete session tracking. Every user action is recorded with timestamps, ensuring comprehensive audit trails for security compliance. It also provides S3 storage options. Stream session directly to S3 packets for long-time retention analysis. CloudTrail integration. We've covered CloudTrail before. Session automatically log into CloudTrail without capturing who accessed which and when, who did what. It captures everything. Command history. All exclusive commands are preserved, allowing administrators to review. But this is just CloudTrail automated compliance reporting. Compliance visibility, monitor patch status and configuration adherence of all instances from a centralized dashboard, as we said. Automated reports, schedule regular compliance reports to be delivered to as is just repeating itself, to be delivered to S3 or email to stakeholders. Remediation actions, and it configures automatic fix for non-compliance based on predefined rules and policies. Audit trail, as we covered it now. The other thing, since it automates everything, it allows you to manage your resources from a centralized dashboard. Thus, it reduces manual overheads. No manual connections, automated operations, centralized control, and enhanced security. consistent system configurations. It prevents configuration drift. System managers ensure system maintain defined configuration automatically, preventing unwanted changes over time. Define desired states. Create SMS document specifying configuration that should be maintained across all target instances. It also reduces regular enforcement. It also allows regular enforcements. Schedule automatic checks to verify and apply correct configuration at the specified intervals. Compliance reporting tracks which system matches desired states and identify those requiring remediation. Core parameter management. We have talked about this. We have covered it. It is about the secure configuration storage, centralized location, also stores in a name value pairs. It allows encryption with either KMS or plain code-free secrets. That is it. Any question? Before we move to the next topic. I'm assuming silence means no. Let's move to the next topic. And hello guys, can you see any new screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you
Hello,
can see.
Basil.
Yes, we
Oh,
can.
thank you. Next, we are going to cover administration tools. Administration tools. What is administration tool? Administration tools, these are tools or utilities that allow you to manage your servers and application and your servers and applications. It's here monitor and it allow you to monitor and manage utilities. These are utilities to track, audit, and control resources, ensure performance, security, and compliance. Example is Amazon CloudWatch. We have covered Amazon CloudWatch. It is like metrics, logs, and Amazon CloudWatch is like the task manager for the cloud. AWS IAM, we just covered it. User and resource permissions. AWS config resource, inventory and change tracking, automation. Also automating that. Let's manual repetitive tasks with code-driven process.
Excuse Moha.
Yeah.
Is it possible you go the slideshow way so that we can see?
Oh.
Pale juu
Sorry.
hapo.
Can you see it now very well?
Because the writings are small. Wonderful. Yes. Yes,
Thank
let's
you.
go with that.
Let's give an analogy. It's like a central command center for smart building. You can control everything from your desk, like security camera, doors. This is not every room. These are the smart buildings. So nikisema smart buildings ukiangalia hii nyumba ya kila mtu. Next, AWS SDK, software development. Sorry. SDKs are language-specific libraries that attract complexity of HTTP calls. These are pre-built libraries so that English. These are pre-built libraries so that allow you to work with AWS. They handle authentication, request signing, retries, and error handling. This is the foundation of DevOps and infrastructure as a code. It enables programmatic, which is essential for CI, continuous integration, continuous development pipelines, and automated governance. Common use for SDKs are automatic daily backups, example, script to snapshots, EBS volumes, script to stop all EC2 instances tagged by dev. Just this is an example, tagged by dev at 7 p.m. on Fridays, every Friday. Another use case is to build a custom web app that uploads user files directly to S3, programmatically checks for non-compliant resources. CloudFormation is an infrastructure as a core service that provides a common language in either JSON or YAML to describe and provision all infrastructure resources in your cloud in a safe, repeatable ways. It does that through templates. Templates are blueprints, file defining all resources and their dependencies. For example, is create this security group before creating this EC2. It states all the resources you have to create. Stack is the single unit of development. After the blueprint, you have to run a stack, a running instance of a template. You manage resources as a stack, not individually. Resources are managed as a stack or as a group stack and not individually. Change sets, a brief of changes. This shows you a telephone change sets shows what exactly CloudFormation will create, do, delete, update, direct drift detection. Finds when a resource actual config differs from that template. Like for example, if your template says then you have to use AWS instance micro 3 and you change the actual source to 3 to micro 2, the CloudFormation detects it and it drifts it changes it. Benefits of CloudFormation: it deploys infrastructure consistency, deploys the exact same environment, dev, test, prod, every time from one template. This eliminates configuration drift between environments and it works on a machine problem. For example, it's when a code might be working on your machine, but when you use another machine or you transfer it, it starts breaking. So that is where CloudFormation comes in. And automated management safely updates and delete entire environment starts with one command. Use changes to set preview and drift detection to find manual changes. It also supports rollbacks on a failure, protecting your state. Infrastructure as a code. Treat infrastructure like a code. Check your templates into version control, e.g. Git. It tracks every change and perform peer reviews before deploying infrastructure. This provides a full audit trail. AWS OpsWorks. OpsWorks means it's a configuration management service that provides fully managed instance of Chief Automate and Puppet Enterprise. It handles the provisioning, patching, and maintaining the configuration management surface themselves. For CloudFormation, it just defines the resources, but we use in OpsWorks to configure and install the required resources. Key distinction between the two is the CloudFormation provisions creates an empty server, while OpsWorks configures, installs, and manages software on the server, like installing Apache, setting up users, developing app code. Use case: it's ideal for complex, stateful, migrating legacy application that already rely heavily on Chef or Puppet cookbooks. Question: which AWS tool can a developer use to write an automated script in Python to access an AWS service? Again, which AWS tool can a developer use to write an automated script in Python to access an AWS service? Any answer, Basil? Hello, Patrick, anyone?
Guys, answers, guys.
What's the answer, Frank? Someone to read it?
I'm checking for answers, guys. I hope you guys have been following that class because that was very important. Extremely. Anybody?
Anybody? Okay, if there's no answer, then the answer is AWS for Python, or it will be, now it's Python, it will be AWS SDK for Python. And if it was another language, it would be SDK for JavaScript example. So question 2, this one is very easy. Question 2, everyone should answer it. Name 3 programming languages that are supported by AWS SDKs. Anyone? Name 3 programming languages supported by AWS SDKs. I'm what from Elawenda.
Developers mmefikiwa.
Yes.
I can see Python.
Python again. Python. Java.
I can see Java. Okay.
Lugha ya zamani.
One more. One more, guys. Which is the twin brother to
It seems
Python?
they're tired.
Twin brother to Python, a very new language, not really new, but relatively new, and it starts with G. Somebody?
Ni kama wamechoka watu kama
Okay, so
tumetoka.
Go, yes, Golang. The language developed by Google.
Golang.
Yes, Go.
Go.
So that is
Okay,
3.
go,
That is good.
Go, yes, Go PHP Node.js, that's enough. In which cloud formation component will administrator define AWS structure resources? In which cloud formation component will an administrator define the AWS infrastructure resources? This we covered just in the last slide, the previous slide you're doing, just 3 minutes ago. Kuna mtu bado na type Go. Hiyo tumepita, sasa tuko question 3. Ama hamuoni vizuri. In which cloud formation component will administrator to define an AWS infrastructure resources? That will be different since there's no answer. Okay, this question, what is the purpose of drift detection in cloud formation? Ni kama watu wametoka. Number 1 is AWS SDK for Python or any SDK for the chosen language. These are the languages: Net, Java, Python, Node, Ruby, C++, Go, Kotlin, continuous. Number 3, tablet. Templates the AWS resources. And number 4, what is the purpose of cloud formation? Number 5, AWS service provides managed instance for Chief Puppet. And drift detection identifies if a resource life configuration has been changed manually. Maybe it's different from what's defined in the cloud formation template. This is like if your resource was, like I said, was like, I don't remember the micro T3 and you change it to the T2 in the resources, it has to match with the template. If it does not match, that will be a cloud formation will detect a drift detection. Last is AWS OpsWork provides minutes, safe and Puppet instance. Patrick. Hello?
Yes.
Amazing. That's enough.
Good. That is awesome.
Comes to say, right?
That was really awesome. Makofi, clap for Mohammed. Hearty claps for Mohammed. Hearty claps for Team Safari. Basil, I'm assuming that you guys are done.
Yeah, we are done.
You guys have done a very good job. And guys, I just want to let you know that you see what has been covered under systems administration is a very, very important topic, not just for your exams, but
Hello,
even...
Patrick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Basil. Basil, are you saying something?
Yes. No.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying, guys, that what this team has covered is very important. Very, very important. You will see questions about SSM. You will see questions about OpsWork. Now you know what those wonderful services do. So that was really, really good. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry. So I say again that was some very good work, Team Safari, and that was good work, Basil and team. So guys, keep it up. And for the rest of us, please let us go back to our notes on Canvas and just read through these notes. I believe every note that has been shared today, right from what Water shared in the morning to what Safari has shared right now, all those notes, please make sure you avail them in our WhatsApp group. And then when you avail them there, people will be able to go through them. Guys, you're also reminded, please go and do the cases that accompany the presentations that have been done today. And then all will be good. So tomorrow we continue in the morning. And so which team is coming in the morning? Which team is coming in the morning? Which team is coming in the morning? I've shared a very good link hapo kwa chat. That is linked to the CLI documentation, the official CLI documentation. Which team is coming in the morning? I'm still there, bado niko tu hapo. Nimekwama hapo. So you guys, you want me to go and look at the timetable? Si mnajijua? Who are coming in the morning? I can't see the chart. Team Camino. Oh, Camino. The Camino guys. Camino, you are coming in the morning. So Camino is come in the morning. Okay. Okay, good. I hope you guys are ready. And what topic are you sharing? Give me one word for the topic that you are sharing. Give me just one word for the topic that you are sharing. I know you are doing a couple of things, but one overriding word for what you guys are sharing. Camino. So tomorrow Camino will be with us. And what will you guys be talking about? Servers. Yes. So servers. So we'll be talking about servers. So the likes of EC2, a deeper dive into EC2. You'll see a bit of S3 demonstration, how to host a website, a static website on S3. You will also see them talk about instance store and then they'll do a small mention on EBS, which will be covered later in the afternoon, and why EBS is a preferred way to store your instance sessions or your instance data compared to using instance store. You will also hear them speaking to us about the Elastic Beanstalk, which is a platform as a service, but still falls under servers. And then in the afternoon, we will be going out of this world to go into a different planet to see an element called Ether. People from Ether, Amanyini Ethernet, I don't know. Ether, guys from Ether will be doing S3 deep dive. So tomorrow is a very important day. Doesn't mean that what we have covered today is not important, but now tomorrow we are going into the depth of matters, where Ether will be taking us through Amazon S3 deep dive. And then we will talk about the different storage types, where we'll talk about file storage, object storage, and all that, including block storage. And then they'll also do a thinner overview. I hope so far you guys are enjoying the sessions. You guys are learning from your peers. And so we'll continue tomorrow. Any questions before we go? Any questions before we go, or any concern, or anyone needing a clarification?
Patrick.
Yes, Napo.
I just have a question from Team Camino. We wanted to know how many people have already interacted with HTML and how many haven't.
HTML. Okay, let us take a quick poll. If you have never interacted with HTML, please raise your hand. If you have never interacted with HTML, please raise your hand. If I remember correctly, Nabo, HTML is that thing that we used to write the index file, right?
Yes. It will be tied with the topic whereby we are deploying a static website.
Good. Yeah. Please don't quote unquote squander your minutes going into teaching HTML. Everyone should be knowing HTML as at now, because if you are in this class, you might have done, if you are as old as some of us, you might have done computer packages, and HTML is not really considered a language, but it's actually the language of many browsers, of many browsers. So HTML has the tags and the likes of this. Maybe what you can do, in order to help those guys who would like to do a refresher, maybe you can go to a place like W3. In a W3 what? There is
W3 schools.
Yeah, W3 schools. You can go to W3 schools and just get a link that can give them that, or even get a YouTube tutorial for HTML if anybody would like to do HTML. But for developers, you understand that nowadays we don't really do HTML that much, because we have many things, like we even have templating that we can use. But now HTML still remains. Najua, those things I cannot change. HTML is still very, very important. So that was a good question. But now tomorrow, just come with your .html file and then just wow us. Sindio? Yeah, just
Yeah, sure.
wow us. Okay, cool. Awesome. Any other question? Any other concern from anybody? Going once? Going twice? Cool. And now our class has come to an end. And thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. And thank you for being in class. So see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow, bright and early. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now. You wanted to thumbs up, ukajipata ukicheka. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Bye, guys. See you kesho.